Hi guys, welcome to Exam Debug CS. My name is Chris McKenna. This is going to be our first real Python class. We've already had something on how to set up the computer, how to run and install Python. Go back and look at that if you need to. But today is going to be our first one on actually doing some programming. Yay! So first of all, this is, again, remember, really for people doing computer science, IGCSE, or GCSE. But anybody can follow along from the course, but the things we're talking about, we're really focusing on the exam. So there are other ways to do stuff. We're focusing on the way the exam really wants you to do it. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, we're going to have comments in our code. Now, a comment starts with a hashtag, £, whatever you want to call it, and is followed by some text. That just means it's not going to do anything. So this is just it's a way to write notes to other people inside the program. And it's really good to use this for your teachers, even inside the exam, as a way of telling what you're trying to do. So try and get into the habit of using comments throughout your code. You will get lazy, but at least if people understand what's going on, you might still get some points here and there, even if you don't do it correctly. Okay, with that said, let's go on to the actual programming. So the first thing we're going to do is try and output something to the screen. So we just want to print something, and we want some text to appear on the screen, just like we've got up here. Yeah, this is all just appearing on the screen. How did they do that? Well, they used a print. Now, print has brackets after it, and inside of the print goes some text. Now, traditionally, we always start with hello world. Let's run that. So, and hello world over here. Remember, you can run up here, or in my case, I press F5. It's probably different on a Mac, or if you're using different programs or different editors to run things. But however you run it, just click run. So that's taking this text and printing it out to the screen. It's just fairly simple. Now, however, text in programming and computer science, we don't call text. Text is actually called a string. Okay, and we're outputting it to the screen. So we're going to say output string, output a string to the screen. Okay, so it's taking this text and it's outputting it over here. You need the quotation marks, otherwise it thinks it's text that has to deal with inside the program. It thinks it's a command. So if you don't have the quotation marks, it doesn't know that this is not a command, and it will try and run hello, it will try and run world, and it doesn't know what they are, so it will crash. Let's just prove that. Invalid syntax. Okay, so it's saying I don't understand what world is because you've not told me yet. So if we put it in quotations, then it knows it's just text. It doesn't have to understand what it is, it just has to work with it. Okay, so we've got that. The next thing we want to do, because this isn't very interactive yet, is we want to ask the user to enter some information. So to do that, we're going to start with a variable. Now, I'll talk about variables in a bit, but I'm going to have name is going to be my variable. I'm going to say equals, and then the command is, or the function is input, and functions always come with brackets after it. And inside here, we put the question we want to ask. So I'm going to say, what's your name? And remember to close my quotation marks. Most editors will have colors, so if you somehow forget, just look for colors. That shouldn't be green, that should be black. If you're doing it in Notepad, that makes it a lot harder. Good luck. So, anyway, so we're going to do this. Now, this isn't going to see anything massive yet. We'll just get the input, and then we'll deal with it later. But let's see. So, what's your name? Chris. Nothing happens afterwards. It still says hello world because we print hello world. Okay, but what's happening is it's asking me the question. When I type the answer, input is taking that and it's putting it into the name variable. Now, a name variable is just like a box. So what I'm doing is I'm taking what they've typed and putting it into a box called name. If I want to take out the contents and put it somewhere else, I can use that by using the name of the variable. So let's say down here, I'm going to say hello plus name. Now this isn't going to look right, but let's see what it does. What's your name? Chris. Hello, Chris. Okay, so whatever we type, what's your name? Bob. Hello, Bob, is going to be taken into this variable and then taken out of the variable here and attached onto the end. Now you notice there's no space. So remember, inside of your strings, you often want to include a space, or inside of your prints, you often want to include spaces so that it looks a little bit nicer. All right, so should be okay so far, I hope. Now let's talk a little bit about variables. Now variables, like I said, are just boxes. But we have some rules around these boxes because it can be hard to know what's what, basically. So generally speaking, with variables, we're going to start as lowercase. Now, it will work with uppercase, but generally speaking, we want it to be lowercase. And most importantly, we want them to be something that makes sense. What do I mean by makes sense? Well, here's a box. The box says toys. Now, if I open up that box and the box does not contain toys, I'm probably going to be a little bit annoyed and or confused. And so that's exactly what variables are. They're just these named boxes. They're a box with a name on it, and when you open it up, you expect that thing to be inside of it. Now, if I had a box that just said the letter A, that's what does A mean? It doesn't mean anything to anybody. So we need to have a meaningful variable name. We need to have something that tells me what is inside of the box. So what if I were to do a second input and say, how old are you? This yellow stuff coming up is just a hint because I've left my thing in the wrong place. Okay, so how old are you? Oh, sorry, I should probably have question marks on the ends of these. So how old are you? What do you think the variable should be at the start? Obviously, it could be age. It could be anything you like, but we don't want it to be called banana equals input, how old are you? That doesn't make any sense to anybody trying to read your program. We don't want it to say A, because A doesn't give us enough information. Now, you can use more words, but you can't use spaces. So you could say age of person. That's perfectly fine. Most people are going to find that a bit too long and annoying. So try and keep them simple, but keep them meaningful, is our rule. Okay, so we've got two variables, but we've not output anything yet, so we want to try and output more things to the screen. So how can we add multiple strings into that print statement, or multiple print statements? We simply just add more pluses. So hello, name, and now I need a space at the start, otherwise it would crush it together. You are, and again, a space at the end, plus age, plus years, oops, capital there, years old, years old. Full stop, or maybe exclamation mark. And I need a quotation before I finish off. Okay, so I've got one block plus, one block plus, one block plus, one block plus, and so on. Okay, and that way I can join it all together. Let's see what happens. Hang on, I'm just gonna, because I'm using bigger text, it doesn't look very nice. Let's try again. Okay, what's your name? My name is going to be Grace. How old are you? I'm going to be 23. Hello, Grace. You are 23 years old. Okay. So, hello, Grace. You are 23 years. And I could reuse my variables as many times as I like. It's not a one-use thing. Hello again. Plus Oh. Plus name. Give that a run. What's your name? Tom. How old are you? 13. Hello, Tom. You're 13 years old. Hello again, Tom. So we're using the name variable twice. So I've got a little bit of a task for you to try. So I'm going to attempt to pause things here. Okay, so here is a little task for you to try. Just trying to pull together the stuff that we have used. So we're going to ask some questions. Give me a name. Bob. Animal. Tiger. What's your friend's name? Claire. Name a kitchen item. Spoon. And it's going to stick all those things together to make a silly little story. Okay, so one day Bob was walking in the woods and was attacked by a tiger. However, Claire was nearby and fought off the tiger with a spoon. If I run that again, if I change the inputs, it's going to change the silly little story that is output at the bottom. So you can do some fun things with your friends if you like. Try and keep it nice. Don't make it too mean, but you can try and make something a little bit funny. If you come up with something good, maybe post it in Repo, and then you can share the link in the comments below. All right, so let's just jump back very quickly, and I'll let you see the screen. Okay, so just a reminder, we have prints, they output things to the screen, they output strings to the screen, and that's what comes in these quotation marks. We have inputs, and these are the things that ask the user questions, and we put those answers inside of variables. Okay, that's us for today. Thank you for your time, and I hope that helped somewhat. Good luck with